And now, from the authorities in sports nutrition, it's the EFX Sports Show. And here's your hosts, Dr. Jeff Golini and Brian Andrews.
Well, welcome to the EFX Sports Show. My name is Dr. Jeff Golini, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Brian Andrews. Brian, how are we today?
You know what? I'm actually fired up, and I'll tell you why, because how could you not be excited with the show we're going to roll out today?
Yeah.
So here, let's take it from the top. Of course, we're going to have another fabulous tip of the week. Can't hear what you have to share with the listeners on whatever subjects you're going to cover. It's going to be awesome. I already know that. And then in our ever-popular now Q&A segment, we're going to cover a lot of cool topics. We're going to talk about building bigger arms. How do you gain weight? And then someone asked, how do they rehab an injured shoulder? I mean, that's a common thing. If you're an athlete, your joints are susceptible to injury. What's especially cool is in our interview segment, we're going to be talking with Mr. Rehan Jalali. Now, if you have not heard of this gentleman, this guy is a formulator, he's an author, natural bodybuilder, and the cool thing is he's a celebrity trainer. And what I mean by that is he's worked with guys like Ben Affleck, he's the guy who plays Batman.
Yeah. And
Whitaker. I mean, elite athletes like Super Bowl champion Michael Strahan. This guy has got a laundry list of who's who in Hollywood that are under his care. So it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say because he's got a vast experience in our industry on top of it. And I know you've actually known Rehan for a while. I mean, we both have.
Yeah.
He's just a great guy. I cannot wait to hear what he has to share.
And whether it's the Grammys or something, I mean, he's at all those places,
Yeah, he's like the red carpet king.
Yeah. So I'm sure you've seen him on TV, on the carpet with somebody.
All right, well, then, it's time to get it on. This is going to be a heck of a show.
The tip of the week. I wanted to talk about calves and forearms. It's kind of funny. A lot of times calves and forearm training doesn't exist. Bodybuilders know the importance of training those body parts because, again, they're trying to have a symmetrical looking body. But a lot of times, football, basketball, track, other athletes, they don't think of that as being a body part. And what's going to happen is you will pull something. A lot of times you will pull your hamstring not because you have a weak hamstring, but because your calf muscle is weak. Anytime you have a weak muscle, you're going to put emphasis on some other muscle. So again, a lot of shoulder problems are because of weak forearms. So again, don't just think, well, I've never had a forearm injury or a calf injury. Very rarely will you injure your calf or your forearm. You will injure something around there. So important to do. You do calves and forearms, don't you, Brian?
Oh, are you kidding me? I mean, let's face it. Nothing says power like big old forearms, like Popeye.
Yeah.
That's very impressive when you see a guy, he does, like, say, a double biceps, in a bodybuilding type show, when the arm is just full all the way down to their wrist. And, there obviously a lot of that is genetic on the muscle belly size or what have you. But my goodness, I mean, that is such an impressive thing. I mean, somebody shakes your hand, you feel like they're going to break your hand.
Yeah.
That's forearm grip right there, man.
And I got to tell you, there's I don't judge people's physique, but there's one thing that always busts me up. When you see a guy that's got some big old arms and shoulders, and then you get down and he's got these little toothpicks.
Yes.
I mean,
same for calves.
Brother, do some calves, man. I mean, do the curls for the girls and the tries for the guys. I mean, but do the calves just 'cause.
Well, it's interesting. I remember back in the day, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he used to talk about how one of his absolute weakest body parts was his calves.
Right.
And I remember reading, I think it was in his biography or something, he actually took all of his long pants and cut them off at the knees into shorts, so he would force himself to constantly be aware of it. And he trained those things like there was no tomorrow, and they became really, I mean, he was known for arms, of course, but they became one of his better body parts.
Absolutely.
There's something about a shapely leg that, again, like the arms, when you have big, powerful calves, it speaks volumes.
And what you got to remember is that you are on your legs all day long. So you are working those calves muscles the same way with your forearms. Every upper body exercise that you do, you are working the forearms. So in order to get that muscle group to grow, you've got to do something a little bit different to shock it. First of all, calves. Don't tell me that you can't get your calves to grow. And I see you on your cell phone doing seated calves with 45 pounds. not going to do anything. Think about it. Your body weight times force is like 5 times that weight pounding those calves just walking. So you've got to put some weight on there to get those calves to grow. Now you've got to put your mind in there. You got to visualize. You got to fully extend all the way down and all the way up and squeeze at the end. And you got to go to failure, not 5-10 reps talking. I mean, again, it's got to be intense. Same thing with the forearms. You've got to concentrate. You've got to do a full range of motion. One of my favorite forearm exercises is to get a dumbbell, put my elbow on a bench, and let my wrist hang over the back of the bench. Now, the secret is as you are putting your hand down, let that dumbbell roll into your fingers a little bit, almost like you're going to drop it, and then bring it back up and come to the top and squeeze. That's what I mean by a full range of motion.
You're exactly right. It's that stretch, and specifically the calves. They are a very, very dense muscle group. So they can take one heck of a beating, and that's what it takes to get them to grow. Like you said, they are built for endurance.
Yep.
And it's interesting if you see somebody, I mean, let's face it, if they're somewhat obese, typically you'll see they have bigger calves by default because their body is moving so much weight all the time.
And usually long-distance bike riders will have big calves. And again, because of the force that they're using, on inclines and just that endurance that they have, they normally will have bigger calves. So again, train your calves. Do them twice a week. I recommend 5 sets of standing calves, 5 sets of seated calves. And again, heavy weight, concentrate, controlled movements.
It's not for the weak-minded. It's painful if you train your calves the right way. When it feels like there's a blowtorch being held to those things, that's about when it's just starting to work. So just keep that in mind.
Exactly. Then you're growing.
Well, awesome tip, man.
Hey, thanks, man.
All right, we're back with the ever-growing, ever-popular Q&A segment, and it's time to get right to what people are writing in wanting to know, and they know we got the answers here, so, hey, keep these questions rolling in, please, because we're really having a good time answering these, and I just like the idea that we're helping people. So let's go right to question 1. You ready?
Go ahead. What do we got, Brian?
All right, it says, what is the best way to get big arms? A trainer at my local gym told me I should train them at least twice a week. Is this right? I have only been training for 5 months, so I want to know the fastest way. This is Bart Williams from Phoenix, Arizona. Everybody wants big arms, and they want them tomorrow.
Yeah, they do, and I think one of the biggest mistakes that I don't want to just say young people getting in, newbies into training, but I see it all the time, is lack of discipline, poor form. Don't start out with easy curl bars and you are rocking your body like, I don't know, you're dancing or something. I mean, you are not going to concentrate and put the muscle movement into that muscle. Think about the bicep. I mean, it's relatively a small muscle. So in order to concentrate on that muscle, you've got to visualize. You got to think about the muscle that you're growing. Arnold used to say you got to put your mind into that muscle and look from the inside out and look at what you want it to look like. But anyhow, 2 days a week is enough. But Bart, again, you got to pick about 3 exercises. And I would recommend that you would do standing barbell curls. And again, if you got to go put your back against a wall or get one of those arm busters that lock your arm in, that's how you're going to concentrate on your bicep. Don't worry about the amount of weight. Worry about doing the form correctly. And you want to do about 5 sets of 10 reps, as much weight as you can handle, controlled down, controlled up, and make sure you extend all the way down. And then go find what we call a preacher curl bench or an incline bench. And you can do it with dumbbells or you can do it with an easy curl bar. And again, the secret is you got to go all the way down. I see too many times people are only doing like half movements. If you don't fully extend that, then you are not going to get that sweep under that bicep. So about 5 sets of 10, and then finish up with what I call some concentration curls. This is more for shaping if you're a bodybuilder, where you're just going to put you're going to sit on a bench, you're going to put your knee out, and you're going to put your elbow against your knee, and you're just going to bring the dumbbell up, take it back down, a very slow squeezing at the top, full extension at the bottom, and then start all over again. That's how you're going to get big arms.
Now, what about big triceps? Because, it's funny, people look at the arm, they always talk about the bicep, a big pop out of their sleeve. But, man, triceps are literally almost 3/4 of the arm mass. Yeah,
exactly. So, again, bis are the first part, but the tris, there again, it's the same principle. You got to concentrate, you got to squeeze, and you got to do full ranges of motion. So there's a variety of exercises that you can do. I'll just give you a couple that are my favorite and usually do the best growing. Standing push downs. Now, if you want to work the long head, you go a wide grip. And this is the same machine that you would do for seated pull downs for doing lats, except you're standing up and you are now pushing down all the way down and come up. Again, slow, controlled movement, squeeze at the bottom. So you go wide grip for the long head, and then you would come in and go close grip for that outside head. Because, again, there's two heads of that tricep. And as you said, Brian, if you really want a big, beastly-looking arm, the bicep will give you the shape, and then that tricep will give you that horseshoe overall, just beautiful appearance. So those are a couple good exercises. Again, 5 sets, around 10 reps, squeeze, controlled, don't be rocking and rolling and doing all kind of wacky stuff.
That's it. Especially when it comes to arms, it's hard to get away from that ego thing of I want to be curling 135 or something crazy. You know what? Again, it's all about working the muscle properly. And I wanted to throw in real quick about triceps. Another great exercise, and this is a challenge, but if you stop and think about it, it makes sense, is doing dips.
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is because I heard somebody call it this, and I thought that is a genius way to explain it. It is the upper body squat.
Oh, there you go.
Man, it nails your triceps like any other exercise. And I always say, look at a gymnast. They don't really lift a lot of weights, but they lift their body weight repetitively, and they can dip like anybody. And their arms usually look like a bodybuilder. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
The level of development.
Yeah, so there's a lot of exercises. It's really how you do those exercise controlled movements.
Yes, and we are speaking from experience. Form will beat weight.
Absolutely.
Every single time, period. All right, Jeff, look, we got to roll to break. When we get back, I got another question here. This time we're going to be delving into how to gain some weight. So when we get back, get ready for that one.
All right.
EFX!
Hey ladies, this is Lenore Pearson from EFX Sports. You should be entering month 3 of your New Year's resolution of getting in shape, losing weight, and way to go. I thought I would help you out by providing a few more tips you could do to stay on track. Every woman comes in their own unique form, and EFX Sports has a full range of products that I recommend. My favorite are Lean Fix, which will help create a thermogenic burn throughout that day. Carbolin, which is a healthy carb that digests quickly and gives you energy, and Creatine for pre-workout. Then use NF Pro Whey Protein to rebuild your muscles after those workouts the healthy way. Just to mention a few, all of these products can be found in Billings at Bonanza Health Foods, Granite, and Yellowstone Fitness. But if your favorite health club or store does not carry EFX Sports yet, tell them to start for real drug-free muscle the right way. Remember EFX Sports.
EFX Sports is a product of All American Pharmaceutical, located in the Billings Heights. And the EFX Sports Show, available on iTunes, is now hitting the airwaves in Billings. It can be heard every Sunday morning from 9 to 10 on ESPN Radio, AM 910. If you want to power your workouts and stay in shape like the pros do, then choose EFX Sports Supplements. Manufactured in Billings at All American Pharmaceutical, EFX Sports will keep you in tip-top shape with products such as NF Pro Whey Protein, Carbolin, Crealkaline, Freak Maker, and many more. Head into Bonanza Health Foods, Lucky's Market, Granite Fitness, or Yellowstone Fitness and try them all today. If your favorite store or gym doesn't carry EFX yet, tell them to check into it. Go to AAEFX.com to find out more.
We all have those times in our life when we need a little extra push. Sometimes our best intentions are just not enough, whether it's in your business, your family life, personal relationships, or your health. This commercial is focused on your health. Our bodies deserve the best. Sometimes we fall short, and that's okay. We're all human. But if you have a goal to lose weight, build muscle, or just simply feel better, there's a local answer. It's EFX Sports. EFX Sports supplements are some of the highest rated, 100% drug-free supplements available today, and they're manufactured right here in Montana. EFX Sports is known all over the world for its signature products, like Crealkaline, and their all-natural healthy carb mix, Carbolin. You can find all EFX Sports products online at AAEFX.com or find them right here in Billings at local stores like Lucky's and Bonanza Health Foods. If you work out at Granite or Yellowstone Fitness, ask for EFX Sports supplements before and after your workout. And if your favorite supermarket doesn't carry EFX Sports yet, ask them today to look into it. For real, drug-free muscle this new year, remember EFX Sports.
Well, welcome back to the EFX Sports Show. Dr. Jeff Golini with Brian Andrews, and we are in our famous Q&A segment. We just got done talking about big arms. And Brian, you've got another good question from Adam from, out your neck of the woods, Sacramento, California.
Yeah, a little bit north of here. All right, here's what he says. Dr. Jeff and Brian, I have listened to just about every episode of your show since I found them online. Thanks for the great information and advice. Now I was wondering if you'd mind answering a question for me. I'm about to graduate college, and I've been working out for nearly 2 years. I've always had trouble gaining weight. I'm 6 feet tall and weigh 174 pounds. I would really like to weigh at least 200 pounds as my goal. I am naturally lean, so gaining weight is actually hard for me. Are there any foods you would recommend I eat? What about supplements? Of course, I could always load up on ice cream and pizza, but I know that just isn't very healthy. Thanks. Adam Lansing from Sacramento, California.
Yeah, gaining weight. Obviously some people gain weight easier because they've got slower metabolisms, and other people who have faster metabolisms have a little bit tougher time. But really, it's a mental thing, because 3,500 calories to gain 1 pound. You want to gain a pound a day, you take in an additional 3,500 calories a day, and you'll gain a pound a day. Now, Adam was right. You don't want to just eat pizza and ice cream. The higher the quality, the food that you intake, the higher quality the muscle. So again, you want to keep your food groups kind of in ratio. Protein to gain, you want to get about 1.5 grams, maybe 2 grams per pound of body weight that you want to be at. Not where you're at right now. So that's how much protein you need. The rest needs to come from carbohydrates. Because again, if you are not eating enough carbohydrates, you're going to be burning up protein for fuel. And that's usually what I see in a lot of guys and gals who consider themselves, I just can't gain weight, is they just flat out are not eating enough food. Now, how do you eat enough food? You can't do it in 3 meals a day. That's why bodybuilders learn that you got to eat 6 or 7 times a day. And even though we say smaller meals, most of our smaller meals are larger than people who only eat 3 times a day meals.
Ain't that the truth?
But again, you don't gorge yourself. You get in everything you need, and then 2.5 hours later, you're eating again. So it's a real chore. There are no real secret foods. Good quality protein sources, good cuts of steak, a lean hamburger, turkey, fish, chicken. I like to minimize the fats, so you're not taking in, saturated fats from fried foods and, Mickey D's. Again, better quality. If you're going to have fats, get them from your nuts, maybe from some of your dairy products. But again, it's all calories. Carbs, you got to get in the whole grain breads, the rice, the pastas, the potatoes, anything that you can do. And a lot of times you got to be creative, like Big Louie out there at EFX Sports. Remember when he was out here? He was making those pancakes. Actually, he kind of motivated me because I was just tired of oatmeal in the morning. So now I'm making kind of an oatmeal pancake kind of deal. Just all kind of grains, but you got to do whatever you got to do to eat. And then usually most of us drink about 2 or 3 meals a day because it's just hard to eat, 6 or 7 meals. And the way that you create your own weight gain drink is you would want to use a good whey protein concentrate. And of course, I always recommend EFX Sports NF Pro, and then mix it with Carbolin. Now you've got a carb source and a protein source, and you literally can get in, 600-700 calories in between your so-called meals. So you will not have a problem with now increasing your caloric intake. But that's what you got to do to gain weight, is you got to eat and not miss a meal.
Well, and I noticed in here he didn't mention anything about whether he runs or does a lot of cardio. That, to me, is something that you might want to consider if you are doing this, cutting back on. And what I mean is, you're burning calories no matter what you do. So I would put every last calorie, especially for someone who has trouble gaining weight, towards weight training and the diet part of it, as opposed to doing a lot of cardio, which is going to possibly burn up those calories for energy that you just don't want to expend. It's kind of like money in the bank.
And one of the things I think you and I probably need to do here one of these days is we'll put together some kind of weight gaining plans that we'll have posted on our website that's still kind of under development, where, again, you folks can go and you can look at it. Now, these are just guidelines. Obviously, you don't have to do exactly what we put, but, we were young once, so we know what younger people can eat, and we know what we eat. So, again, gaining weight is really easy. It's just math and discipline mind, because, again, it takes time and effort to eat enough food.
You said exactly right. This isn't something that happens overnight. This happens over time. I don't know where he started, but, hey, he already is now to 174. I mean, that's fantastic. You're not that far from 200 pounds. So maybe there's some tweaks in the training that need to happen. And one thing he mentioned here was, what about supplements? Anything you could think of off the top of your head that maybe you'd recommend real quickly?
Yeah, real quickly, again, as I said, protein powder, Carbolin, get a good multivitamin in, because as you increase your caloric intake, you want to make sure that your body is actually able to absorb those nutrients. And without most of the B vitamins, you can actually just pass that stuff through. So again, I like VitaDrive. I'm a little partial that if we don't make it, I don't take it. And then, again, you're kind of at the age where you could get on a test booster. Again, you can increase your testosterone level. This is not something for kids. Kids don't need excess testosterone. This is completely safe, water-approved. But again, that might help you stimulate your appetite. Maybe you just have trouble eating. Another thing is taking some extra B12. That will also stimulate your appetite. But that's really it. I mean, there is no secret supplements to gaining weight. Unfortunately, most of it is food and then powder type drinks that you can increase that. And then, like you said, Brian, just making sure that if you're trying to gain muscle, be in the gym. Try to get 4 to 5 days workout and go heavy, not light weights, and cut back on your running and walking a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget Crowlin. This guy's got to take Crowlin.
Oh, absolutely. I already assumed he was taking Crowlin, so.
Well, just in case he's not, get on it.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, Adam, I hope that helped you point the needle north there to hit your goal of at least 200 pounds. And once you get past that mentally, too, you watch the weight's going to come on even faster.
Absolutely.
All right, here's question 3. I need some sound advice on rehabbing my shoulder after a hard fall I took during a basketball game. My doctor x-rayed it and said I didn't have any tears and it should be fine. Although I'm still very stiff and I want to do whatever I can to make sure it fully heals. Besides running almost daily, I do train with weights 3 days a week. What do you think or suggest? This is from Eric Addison. Didn't give a location, but
wow.
Eric, this is something, when it comes to your shoulders, they are incredibly delicate. It's just amazing what our body can endure. You think of bench pressing, behind the neck press, all those things that really hit those shoulders hard. But you got to remember, a lot of those injuries are actually deep inside, with the tendons all attached. The rotator cuff, everyone knows what that is typically. That's what usually gets injured. So what I was going to suggest is, here's how you should be able to overcome that shoulder injury, and you just use some very conservative approaches. Now, first of all, I suggest that you perform very light exercises that are going to strengthen those supporting muscle joints, the rotators, as I was talking about, because you also want to get a lot of blood flow going through there. That will dramatically improve your healing. So I'm going to give you 3 exercises, give or take, that you should do at least twice a week. And the key to all these is using very light weight. Ego completely has to go out the window when it comes to doing this type of thing. So the first thing you're going to want to do is a lying dumbbell external rotation. Here's how this kind of works. So to do this, you're going to hold a dumbbell, say, with your right hand in an overhand grip. And what you're going to do is lay on your left side on a bench. You're going to bend your right elbow and place it by your right side with the dumbbell perpendicular to the floor, so it's kind of sticking out away from you. And what you do is you externally rotate your right shoulder to bring the dumbbell up and away from your torso. So if someone were standing behind you looking at your back, they wouldn't be able to see it, and then all of a sudden they would be standing straight up when you go into that position. And then what you're going to do then is internally rotate your shoulder to bring it back down, but control it the whole entire time. And you're going to do this for 15 to 20 reps on your right shoulder, and then do it for 15 to 20 with the left, and do this 3 times. Again, this isn't like one of those things where you're just screaming, grunting, going to failure. You're just going to do this in a very controlled manner to work those very small rotator cuff muscles. The next thing you're going to do is a standing cable internal rotation. This is, the cable crossover machine. Most every gym has one of these things. You can move the pulleys up and down, and you want to set one of those to about the same height as where your elbow would be when you're standing beside it. And you're going to hold one of the cables with your right hand with a hammer grip right in front of you. So you tuck your right arm to your side, Now, what you're going to do is you're going to rotate your right shoulder to bring the handle in and across your upper abdomen. And you're going to pause slightly and then control it back down. Usually there's a weight stack, so that stack is going to be moving up and down. Again, this is all about control, no ego. And you just got to make sure that your arm stays tucked tightly to your side, so it's all a rotation in the shoulder. Similar to the other one, you're going to do 15 to 20 reps with that right shoulder. Then you're just going to take a breather and turn around and do it again for the left. Do this again for 3 total sets. Now, the final one is we're going to actually work the lateral head, and this is with seated dumbbell side raises. So to do this, you're going to hold a dumbbell in an overhand grip with each hand. You just sit right at the end of a bench, upright, put your arms down by your sides where they're almost touching your hips, in the bench. And when you're going to abduct, which means, to raise those up and away from your sides. When you get to the top, make sure you pause for about 2 seconds, and then you're going to do the same thing, control it back down. Again, 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps. And part of the reason you do it when you're seated is it really forces you into have good control. I mean, that is so key here. This is not about ego. This is about rehabbing the shoulders and getting them strong from the inside out. And one thing I was going to throw in, I know we brought this up before, and you could even talk about this real quickly. You might want to try our supplement, Joint Rehab. I mean, this is phenomenal at reducing that inflammation and help speed that healing process.
Yeah, clinically proven to work. I was just thinking as you were talking about that, because I've had some shoulder injuries. You want to put the Joint Rehab cream on the shoulder before you exercise. It warms it up, gets in there, and then by supplementing with the oral treatment, again, it will help to break up inflammation. And then remember, at night, ice. Invest in an ice pack, get it on there, ice. Now, I'm old school, so I like to ice, and then later on I'll go put some heat on there and then throw some ice back on it. But ice really will help to break up that inflammation. And as Brian said, just take it easy and rest, because that's the best way to get that healed up.
Right. You've got the rest of your life to work out, go play basketball. It's not going to hurt to take a few weeks and lie low. I mean, come on, you could damage your shoulders for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah, you don't.
Very, very hard to ever come back from. We just don't want to see that, especially if you're an athlete.
Absolutely.
So really it comes down to this. Just let pain be your guide. This is common sense. Just go for the pain, but you work up to that point where you start to kind of go, okay, this is starting to hurt, and then stop. Don't be the tough guy and, no pain, no gain, because you're going to injure yourself, like I said, and be out of the game for who knows how long. If you could just listen to what we're saying, do this, and you'll see dramatic results. So, Big Eric, I hope that points you in the right direction and you get those shoulders big and strong, and I'd love to hear some feedback on how this works out for you. And on that note, we have got to go to break, and when we get back, it is time for a phenomenal interview with Mr. Rehan Jalali.
EFX!
If you want to power your workouts and stay in shape like the pros do, then choose EFX Sports Supplements. Manufactured in Billings at All American Pharmaceutical, EFX Sports will keep you in tip-top shape with products such as NF Pro Whey Protein, Carbolin, Crealkaline, Freak Maker, and many more. Head into Bonanza Health Foods, Lucky's Market, Granite Fitness, or Yellowstone Fitness and try them all today. If your favorite store or gym doesn't carry EFX yet, tell them to check into it. Go to AAEFX.com to find out more.
We all have those times in our life when we need a little extra push. Sometimes our best intentions are just not enough, whether it's in your business, your family life, personal relationships, or your health. This commercial is focused on your health. Our bodies deserve the best. Sometimes we fall short, and that's okay. We're all human. But if you have a goal to lose weight, build muscle, or just simply feel better, there's a local answer. It's EFX Sports. EFX Sports supplements are some of the highest rated, 100% drug-free supplements available today, and they're manufactured right here in Montana. EFX Sports is known all over the world for its signature products, like Crealkaline, and their all-natural healthy carb mix, Carbolin. You can find all EFX Sports products online at AAEFX.com or find them right here in Billings at local stores like Lucky's and Bonanza Health Foods. If you work out at Granite or Yellowstone Fitness, ask for EFX Sports supplements before and after your workout. And if your favorite supermarket doesn't carry EFX Sports yet, ask them today to look into it. For real, drug-free muscle this new year, remember EFX Sports.
Hey ladies, this is Lenore Pearson from EFX Sports. You should be entering month 3 of your New Year's resolution of getting in shape, losing weight, and way to go. I thought I would help you out by providing a few more tips you could do to stay on track. Every woman comes in their own unique form, and EFX Sports has a full range of products that I recommend. My favorite are Lean Fix, which will help create a thermogenic burn throughout that day, Carbolin, which is a healthy carb that digests quickly and gives you energy, and Creatine for pre-workout. Then use NF Pro Whey Protein to rebuild your muscles after those workouts to healthy weight. Just to mention a few, all of these products can be found in Billings at Bonanza Health Foods, Granite, and Yellowstone Fitness. But if your favorite health club or store does not carry EFX Sports yet, tell them to start. For real drug-free muscle, the right way. Remember EFX Sports.
EFX Sports is a product of All American Pharmaceutical, located in the Billings Heights. And the EFX Sports Show, available on iTunes, is now hitting the airwaves in Billings. It can be heard every Sunday morning from 9 to 10 on ESPN Radio, AM 910.
Well, welcome back to the EFX Sports Show. My name is Dr. Jeff Golini, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Brian Andrews. And we have got a special treat for you today. I've got my good friend, Mr. Rehan Jalali, on the line. And boy, you know, his bio would probably take me about a day or two to read, but I'm just going to kind of touch on some of the accomplishments. There's so many things that Rehan has done. You know, besides being a certified sports nutritionist, he's based out of Beverly Hills. He has developed hundreds, if not thousands, of cutting-edge products that have grossed companies in the hundreds of millions of dollars. He's been on ABC radio shows and fitness show. He's an author. He's got books. He trains the stars, and in his spare time, he also does some bodybuilding. So, Rehan, how are you doing?
Wow, what an intro. Thanks, Jeff. I don't know if I can live up to all of that, but you forgot to mention I'm a legend in my own mind. That's a very important qualification.
Absolutely. And the one thing I love...
we all are, right?
Absolutely. And one thing I love about Rehan is he really is so humble. You know, he has accomplished so much. But I thought, you know, I'll just ask you, you know, why don't you tell our listeners, I mean, who is Rehan?
That's a great question, and I ask myself that every single day. But I can tell you this. My goal has always been to help people look and feel better and to educate them in this mad world of fitness. And I started that early and kind of, you know, went on studying accounting, if you believe it or not, to start out at the University of Texas, switching to biochemistry and food science, competing in bodybuilding in the early stages, as you did, Jeff, as well, as a successful bodybuilder. You know, you did that, and learning from that experience, I transitioned into sort of the fitness world and writing and doing all kinds of things fitness-related, and now taking it to a different level where we do a lot of customization and, you know, luckily having the chance to work with some celebrities and athletes and, you know, people who can really make a positive impact at a greater scale. So that's kind of what I'm about, is really just making people's lives a lot better.
You know, you said something there, too, that I think is really key. Don't you find that it helps, being that you know personally how to get yourself into shape, that it's a lot easier to tell somebody else what to do?
Well, Jeff, I've always said you can't trust a skinny chef.
Yeah,
so, you know, I always say you got to practice what you preach. I mean, at the same time, because I want to go through the same struggles that the people that I work with are going through. As you've seen as well, many, you know, you too, Brian, as well, looking at people and looking at the struggle, looking at, you know, we're all human, right, at the same time. No matter if you're a bodybuilder, if you're the mom starting out, or just an athlete, you know, trying to get better at a sport. And I guess in some ways, you know, we all are athletes still, right? We're still training hard at the gym, and we kind of have all the athlete in us. So whatever it may be, you know, it's at the same time, you know, we're just trying to be better. That's really the goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously you're very active on social media. I mean, like you said, your radio shows, all kinds of stuff, writing books. It's like, how on earth do you find the time and energy just to keep up with it all? I mean, also you're a parent, right?
Yes. It's never a dull day. I say I live in a 24/7 world. So that's actually my biggest kryptonite is sleep. I'm working on it. It's very critical, by the way, for fitness success or life success. You got to get rest. But the way I do it mainly is time management. I think if you have a good schedule, have things in place, have people around you. You have to have a good team, obviously. So having a good team, I think, really helps support me in my endeavors, and it makes things a lot better. It makes things to where you can accomplish a lot, and you get used to it as well. If you've been doing it for a long time, and you know what the secret is, guys, and you guys know this better than anybody. If you follow your passion, the good things will happen, and you will manage anything. Because, again, this is not, don't tell anybody. People aren't listening, right? No, don't tell anybody, but this is kind of a hobby for me. This is kind of like, fun. Like, when people go to work, like you guys go to work, and you're like, you're passionate about what you're doing. You're happy. So that, I think, makes a big difference. If you're passionate and happy about what you're doing, it's not really working. You can do a lot more. Right, I want to do more. I want to, with all the stuff you mentioned, I want to double that next year. Right, I want to keep going.
Yeah, and I think you said something that a lot of times people don't realize, but it's okay to have what you like be your career. I mean, it should be.
Absolutely.
Your passion.
Absolutely, we're fortunate. Yeah, we're fortunate enough to have that.
So, what is this new thing I've been hearing about, Beverly Hills Lean?
Beverly Hills Lean is a concept we created. We've got a guy that does a lot of TV shows for VH1, and Rick, he's a great friend of mine as well. And he approached me years ago, and we wanted to do a TV show about basically looking at not only just the craziness of Beverly Hills and all the people trying to get in shape and all the the crazy things they're doing. However, we wanted to show the right way to do things as well. So I would call it an infotainment type of show where it's reality meets body transformation. Think of it as the plastic surgery show 90210 meets like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills meets like bodybuilding. So think of that mashup. And it's an interesting show. It's funny. We film at our gym in Beverly Hills, and we look at, trainers. We look at two women who are actually going through a body transformation, who are very eccentric, who just want the quickest fix ever. I mean, as you guys know, everybody wants results yesterday. Right. So we look at battling that versus real quality results and lasting results. So kind of a fun show, and, it's entertaining, and hopefully it will be out soon.
Looking forward to seeing that. Now, are you in the show, or are you just producing it?
I'm in the show as well, yeah.
Oh, good, man. Yeah. Everyone's got to watch that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Like, one of the scenes in the show is this eccentric lady from Beverly Hills who, shows up to a hike in stilettos. She's like, well, I got to look good while I'm hiking. I'm like, really? Are you serious? Like, that's the level we're dealing with.
Oh, my goodness.
That's great. Well, you're right there again in Beverly Hills, so that's like the epicenter for celebrities, big names in Hollywood, that type of thing. Hey, here's your chance to name drop if you're allowed to, because I know you've worked with like Forrest Whitaker, of course, Ben Affleck doing Batman. Who are some of the celebrities you work with, and what's your favorite thing about working with these type of people?
Well, I can tell you that most of my clients are great. I would say almost all of them in terms of motivation, dedication. But they're also human, too, in the sense that, they need motivation. But the great part about working with them is that they actually are self-motivated because they have a huge role coming up. And they're getting paid millions of dollars, and they're going to show their body on a giant screen in front of thousands of people, millions of people maybe. And the paparazzi always follow them around. They're always getting their body shots, as you've seen, some unflattering, some flattering. So they're always conscious of their body. So that obviously makes an inherent motivated person. There's nothing better than working with someone already motivated and someone who really wants to see results. So working with Ben Affleck for Batman, obviously he took a lot of heat for the role initially, and now people, are saying, wow, what a, seeing the trailer and seeing the movie almost coming out, they're saying, wow, he really worked hard, and the guy's one of the hardest working people you ever meet. Working with, Stallone back in the Rocky and Rambo days, the last Rocky and the last Rambo, you got somebody who, is older and who wants to prove himself, and he wants to show that, hey, listen, I still got it, and he does have it, right? So working with these people, it really, I think it's motivating for me as well as for them. And I think the key is you get to show your work in a larger, grander scale.
Do you have a gym that you train all these out of, or do you go to their houses, or what do you do, Rehan?
Yeah, some I go to their houses. They have private gyms at their house. Others, we have a gym in Beverly Hills. So we have a complete private gym. It's kind of paparazzi-free, real quiet. They like coming there. We have a lot of testing equipment also. We do a lot of testing. We don't guess, we test. So I think testing is really underrated when it comes to getting maximum results in clients.
Oh, nice. And, our program director, Seth, he said that he really went through your website and things, and you got a lot of stuff about charities on there. And I just want to know, I mean, that's so cool. You know, I mean, what charities do you get involved with, and why do you do that?
I just believe that you got to keep giving. I mean, I think that, giving is living, I think. And I think that if you're just being selfish and doing this for yourself, I don't think it really is productive for you and for your families and for other people. So I just believe that, giving is just something that I was raised up to do. I was, kind of doing since I was a child. So it's kind of, I was bred into that giving world. I've got, 4 brothers and sisters, so we were given a lot when they were kids. Instead of sharing everything.
Yeah.
And, so, I learned from there. A great charity that I like to work with is water.org. I believe that, water is a critical, we take it for granted here. We drink a gallon of water every day, right? For bodybuilders out there. But, and athletes. But I think that there's a lot of people in the world that actually still can't get clean water. So that's something I'm really passionate about. And we did a bunch of stuff with that organization. I go to some of the events, and we built some wells out in Africa. And I think water is something so basic, like the basic substance of life, and people can't get a clean version of that. I think it's really sad. So that's something that I'm really passionate about, and giving to those kind of charities, Feed America. There's hunger in this country as well. So I think, people can't get food here. I mean, it's crazy. And, Tony Robbins is really big on that. I mean, he feeds 2.5 million people a year now, I think. But, feeding people, I think, is important. So those are the kind of charities I like to focus on, food and water, basic necessities.
Yeah, and that's really cool, man. I mean, because as you said, we take a lot of things for granted. Most of us have not lacked food or water growing up, but there's people even in the United States that are starving, let alone, looking at some of these places where they've got these old cisterns that are just polluted. And this is why a lot of these populations in third world countries, they're sick. They don't even have clean water,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's always awesome to see someone at your level of success and visibility getting, passionately involved with helping other people, because you're busy. I mean, who has time to do these things?
Right.
The fact that you actually dedicate time and passion, energy, focus to helping others when you really don't have to, that says a lot about who you are. And I can just say,
well, I wouldn't have it any other way, I'll tell you that.
Well, look, we're coming up against a break, and when we get back, I want to talk about, you're like the red carpet king. Every time I see you on Facebook, man, you're at some event. Standing there looking all dapper and sharp. So when we get back, I want to talk about, I know you were at the Oscars. Let's hear about some of your favorite moments when we come back from break.
EFX!
Hey ladies, this is Lenore Pearson from EFX Sports. You should be entering month 3 of your New Year's resolution of getting in shape, losing weight, and way to go. I thought I would help you out by providing a few more tips you could do to stay on track. Every woman comes in their own unique form, and EFX Sports has a full range of products that I recommend. My favorite are Lean Fix, which will help create a thermogenic burn throughout that day. Carbolin, which is a healthy carb that digests quickly and gives you energy, and Creatine for pre-workout. Then use NF Pro Whey Protein to rebuild your muscles after those workouts the healthy way. Just to mention a few, all of these products can be found in Billings at Bonanza Health Foods, Granite, and Yellowstone Fitness. But if your favorite health club or store does not carry EFX Sports yet, tell them to start for real drug-free muscle the right way. Remember EFX Sports.
EFX Sports is a product of All American Pharmaceutical, located in the Billings Heights. And the EFX Sports Show, available on iTunes, is now hitting the airwaves in Billings. It can be heard every Sunday morning from 9 to 10 on ESPN Radio, AM 910. If you want to power your workouts and stay in shape like the pros do, then choose EFX Sports Supplements. Manufactured in Billings at All American Pharmaceutical, EFX Sports will keep you in tip-top shape with products such as NF Pro Whey Protein, Carbolin, Crealkaline, Freak Maker, and many more. Head into Bonanza Health Foods, Lucky's Market, Granite Fitness, or Yellowstone Fitness and try them all today. If your favorite store or gym doesn't carry EFX yet, tell them to check into it. Go to AAEFX.com to find out more.
We all have those times in our life when we need a little extra push. Sometimes our best intentions are just not enough, whether it's in your business, your family life, personal relationships, or your health. This commercial is focused on your health. Our bodies deserve the best. Sometimes we fall short, and that's okay. We're all human. But if you have a goal to lose weight, build muscle, or just simply feel better, there's a local answer. It's EFX Sports. EFX Sports supplements are some of the highest rated, 100% drug-free supplements available today, and they're manufactured right here in Montana. EFX Sports is known all over the world for its signature products, like Crealkaline and their all-natural healthy carb mix, Carbolin. You can find all EFX sports products online at aaefx.com or find them right here in Billings at local stores like Lucky's and Bonanza Health Foods. If you work out at Granite or Yellowstone Fitness, ask for EFX sports supplements before and after your workout. And if your favorite supermarket doesn't carry EFX sports yet, ask them today to look into it. For real, drug-free muscle this new year, remember EFX Sports.
Well, welcome back to EFX Sports Radio. We are here with good friend and special guest, Rehan Jalali, and I'll just say he's a star of stars. They need to have his star on the Walk of Fame. A lot of times we look at only actors and what you do, but, Rehan, I don't want to say you're behind the scenes, but, you're so involved with so many different things that I think we should really evaluate in this country, what a star is. I can say Rehan is one of my heroes. And Brian, you wanted to know about the other people and heroes that he associates himself with.
Yeah, like I said, I swear every time I pop onto Facebook, I see a new picture of some event. This guy, I call him the Red Carpet King. So I just want to know, I know you were at the Oscars, which is obviously a mammoth world. The world watches this show. What were some of your, how was it being there? What was it like? What did you do? What were your favorite moments?
Maybe not the Red Carpet King, maybe the Red Carpet Prince. How about that?
There you go.
Start there.
There you go. Okay.
No, those are things I like to do and go to the events because a lot of clients are there. Really, it's just a secret way for me to check up on their bodies. Make sure they're good. They followed the plan to a T and looked red carpet ready. It's my secret plan to check up on them, actually. But no, it was a great show. Obviously, some controversy with Chris Rock, and I think some of the stuff that he said was kind of crazy. But it was great. He went right at it. He didn't really hold any punches, and he just went out after it. I think he did a good job hosting. I think the musical performances were great. The weekend was really great for me. I think his performance was really excellent. And, Leonardo DiCaprio. Leo won his first Oscar. So that was a huge moment. It's a lot of antics, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, a lot of delays and stuff when it's live on TV. So overall, great show. The after parties were even greater because you add alcohol to celebrities and you get a lot of craziness, so as you can imagine. Yeah. But it was overall a great experience.
And before there, you were off at the Grammys. What was that like? I've never been to those.
You know what? I've been to a lot of them, so it's like going to the Arnold or the Olympia, over and over again, year after year. So I don't want to sound like it's redundant, but a lot of times, it is just kind of for work. So, but I still enjoy the shows. I still a fan at heart. You know what I mean? And so right. I think it's the Grammys are a little bit funner because there's a lot of musical performances. So it's like a concert basically, and that's the funner part of the Grammys.
Yeah, I think the only time I went was when I was in L.A. You remember back in the earlier days how Gold's Gym used to get us all kind of jobs to make a few bucks.
Yeah.
And I got a job as being Prince's bodyguard. Well, I was one of like 20.
Wow.
And got to go to the Grammys and meet him. And it was kind of fun because, all we did was chase him because he was just running from one place to the next. And, big bodybuilders, we didn't like to run at the time, but it was pretty fun.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I want to switch gears slightly since we have got the Trainer to the Stars on here. If you don't mind sharing a few of your secrets with us, I'm just curious to know, what is your training and diet philosophies? If you could just share some pearls of wisdom, because we're talking to athletes right now, and they're going to be saying, wow, I want to know what this guy knows.
I think the key, and what I always promote, and I do it in my seminars around the world, and education is a big part of my life. Another part of my business is, doing these certification kind of education programs around the world, and I believe that customization is the key to success. And what I mean by that is it's called the U diet. Right? People always tell me, hey, what's the best diet? Does paleo work? Does low carb? Does high carb? Does, what works? I go, listen, the U diet works. They're like, the U diet? What's that? Tell me. I'll take whatever you say, I'm like, no. What that means is what's best for you. Customization is the key to fitness success. What that means is, learning your genetics. We do genetic testing, learning your blood. We do a lot of blood work before and after. We do urine testing. We do a lot of different type of testing. We do 3D body scanning. We do body fat, of course. We do a lot of different things, muscle balance testing with a new device that we've received. So, we're looking at you as an individual person, not like somebody else, not cookie-cutter diet, but looking at diet and supplements and training program that fits within your, specific situation and also your goals. So, Jeff, when you were competing, obviously your goals were different than today. So looking at your goals, is also very important. So if you have an athlete, for example, I worked with some Olympians. I was at the Olympics in 2012, and their goals obviously are to win a gold medal versus, someone who's a movie star, maybe who has to peak for one scene, one day in a movie. For example, like Bruce Willis, when I was working with him for the last Die Hard, he had to look good topless in one scene, one day. And the whole production was relying on me peaking him for that day.
Wow.
Right? So no pressure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so I think looking at customization really helps you get better results quicker. It allows you to learn about the person and also personal preferences. I'm not going to have someone eat, rice cakes and broccoli if they hate rice cakes and broccoli, because eventually they're not going to do it. I mean, the bodybuilder will probably do it. The athlete may do it, but most people I know generally will do what they like. So we try to get, preferences in the mix. We get a lot of testing, and the goals are always based on the person. And I got to thank Jeff for one thing, for creatinine. I'll tell you that. I've been using that with some of my clients, and they're getting some phenomenal results. People who are actually suffering from not being able to take creatine, stomach discomfort, a lot of issues with regular creatine. I've given them creatinine, and now they're, seeing much, much better results. So shout out to you, Jeff, on that.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And one thing I was thinking about, and I'm sure a lot of people, as they're listening to this, they go, wow, I wish I could, have somebody like Rehan train me. And we understand that, this is your business and your time. But is there a way for just the average person to take advantage? Do you have books, programs or things that they can? Yeah. How do they get access to that kind of stuff?
That's a great question. I'm actually writing two new books now. One's a women's fitness ebook, and another one is kind of a superhero diet plan book, kind of how to look like a superhero. But education is always a big part of where you can get information from my website, from my books. But also the other good thing is I do run a lot of body transformation contests. So for anybody who wants to join, we run 3-month, 6-week kind of blitz plans where you get a customized nutrition program, training program, supplementation program, and you basically, can do it for about 6 weeks, 12 weeks, depending. There's even a 28-day blitz we've run. So, that's a great opportunity for everyone to get involved and really change their body for the better and have motivation. Because one of the biggest things, as you guys know really well, is you got to have a goal, a deadline. You got to have somebody kind of nudging you. You need that positive pressure. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to get, hardcore results if you're kind of like just, lackadaisical and driving Miss Daisy around and, like slow motion. You need somebody to be on you a little bit and be like, listen, I got to get ready for this thing. I got to get, 6 weeks later, I got a date. I got to be ready on that date to be, lean and mean. So that really helps a lot, and I think that's a great way for regular people or anybody really to just get into this program.
Well, and how do they find you, Rehan? What's your web, or how do they get a hold of you?
The best way is my website, the Six-Pack Diet Plan, all spelled out. The sixpackdietplan.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and all the things. Six-Pack Diet Plan. Now they got me Snapchatting. My God, I used to think I'd never be on Snapchat, but my God, they forced me to be on Snapchat. That's Six-Pack Diet Plan as well.
And I highly recommend anyone. This is the man. If you want to get in shape, you have goals. Again, this is an opportunity to get involved with someone who really knows what they're doing. As I said, he's kind of the star to the stars because he's done it himself, and his track record is proven. We've known each other for years, and I can contest that if you want to get in shape, you need to go to that site and you need to get involved. Get some of his good books and definitely get involved with some of his transformation programs.
Thank you, Jeff. It's an honor to be on with you guys.
Hey, and real quick before we end up running out of time, I'm thinking about Ben getting ready for the Batman role. Is there anything you could share, if it's not too secretive, of what you had him doing? I mean, because obviously he wanted to look, bulkier but shapely. So is there any type of exercise that would surprise the audience?
Yeah, sure. Really, obviously, the thing that people don't realize is, he took over a year to prepare for that role. So it wasn't a quick fix. It wasn't like, oh my God, I got to do Batman tomorrow. It took, a year of hard work, of effort, more than a year. And I think the diet program that we had him on was obviously high protein, high essential fats, even moderate to higher carbohydrate, because he wanted to gain lean muscle mass, and he gained 20 pounds of lean muscle in that time and really came through. And at the end of the day, he does the hard work. No one can do the work for him. So his execution, his hard work really made all the difference in the world. And, we always follow a shake in the morning and, meals throughout the day, 5 to 6 meals, and, of course, lots of water. And the heavy training, obviously, is involved with Walter Norton Jr., who trains him around the country. So,
how many days a week did you have him in there?
6 days a week of training. I mean, the 6 days a week training, we had, the nutrition was very, very specific. Some vitamins, minerals, obviously. Again, customization based on his goal of becoming, the best Batman there could be.
I guess the bottom line is this ain't no joke. I mean, this was a very serious training regimen, like he was going to be the next Mr. Olympia, it sounds like, and he was
kind of. Yeah, it was like that. And you guys will see the movie soon. It's coming out March 25th. Batman versus Superman, so check that out for sure, and you'll see the physique results, his hard work in that movie.
Just a few more dollars involved, that's all.
Just slightly.
Yeah.
And you guys have seen all the ads in the Super Bowl and All-Star Game, and so they're going to market that movie heavily, and, it's a really great film.
That's great. Hey, Rehan, would you give us your website one more time, just in case folks missed it the first time?
Sure. It's the6packdietplan.com. And again, 6-Pack Diet Plan is my handle for Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat as well now, and Instagram.
Well, there you go, folks. You definitely want to go check that out. And Rehan, man, it was a pleasure talking to you and having you on the show today.
Thank you guys for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Rehan.
All right, we'll catch you later.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
Awesome job.
Well, that was a good conversation with Rehan. He's the real deal. I mean, I've known Rehan for, 25, 30 years. And I mean, he is one of the most humble, giving guys. I mean, you can just see from his charities and what he does. And, even though he is so busy working with, professional athletes and stars, he still has time for, us common folks, so to say, to be able to take advantage of his knowledge.
Yeah, I'll say the bottom line is he's the real deal. Anytime I've ever spoken to him, he is absolutely humble. You would never know that he is running in those circles, in Beverly Hills of all places. He's just an everyday, average kind of guy that knows his stuff, and I highly recommend what he does. And on that note, it's time for us to close out the show. And I did want to give a big shout-out to our producer extraordinaire, Mr. Seth Williamson. Great job, brother.
Yeah, he does good. So if you get a call from Seth, you know that you might be the next guest on our show.
Absolutely. All right, take care, everybody.
We're out. Bye-bye.
Underground in the EFX studio, you've been listening to the EFX Sports Show. Find all the EFX sports supplements and products by logging on to aaefx.com.